I'm Isaac, the host that will lose their train of thought about every 5 seconds.
If you also want to start a podcast like Milk and Lettuce, maybe make one even more refined than I do, I highly recommend going to anchor.fm. It's free. You do not need to pay them anything. You can have them publish it. They do have it on Apple, Google, Spotify, and others. You can just hit auto distribute and let them take care of the rest. That's what I did. That way I don't have to worry about any of all that. Yeah, words can be hard. But yeah, it's totally free. You can make money. There's no minimum listenership required. There's many different tools all right there. Download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. And please send me your podcasts. I would love to listen to them. Thank you so much. Thank you to you, the listener, and to Anchor FM for being the new home to Milk and Lettuce. So nobody said whether or not they wanted me to do anime reviews. So yeah, I'm actually going to do an anime review today. And it actually does have to do with my regular content. I usually talk about mental health or my issues regarding them and such. Like me coming out, me dealing with depression, anxiety. I suppose my last episode could kind of count for that. And you will hear how technically it would not, according to the DSM. I will get into that. But regarding what happened and the fact that it continues to happen and the fact that it's what he is doing is illegal. It kind of did almost a portray that was inaccurate. Like, it does kind of count towards my regular content. But I do want to kind of go back on track, so you're kind of getting a 2-for-1 tonight. I don't know. It's 4:23 in the morning as I'm recording this right now. So, yes, as I always say in my intro, whatever time of day you're listening to this, you're getting 2. Anyway. So yeah, that said, today I'm going to talk about an anime, and it is called Comical Psychosomatic Medicine. If you have not already seen it, I highly, 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 highly recommend it. It's funny. It's kind of pervy, but like not too pervy. I've rewatched the series so many times. Do I regret a single second of it? Absolutely the fuck not. Anyway, that's probably really loud. I apologize. So yeah, we're gonna get right into Comical Psychosomatic Medicine. Episode 1 is about erectile dysfunction, and as I was not born with, nor have I ever owned a penis, as you can probably tell by the sound of my voice, very feminine sounding, unfortunately. So yes, episode 1 talks about erectile dysfunction, and they talk about how type 1 can be physical, like heart illness type related things or diabetes, and type 2 can be psychosomatic, i.e. stress. And that's literally all I have in my notes for episode 1, except Ladybeard. If you don't know who Ladybeard is, I'm very disappointed. Ladybeard was one of the members of Lady Baby, which was a J-pop idol group, J-rock, I guess you could say. They were kind of a baby metal ripoff, but not the same without Ladybeard. Come the fuck on now. You need Ladybeard. Ladybeard made the whole fucking band come together. Damn. Last I checked, they had like 4 members instead of 2 chicks and Ladybeard. But I do know Ladybeard has started making music again. I guess I have to look this up. But he started making music with another wrestler, because Ladybeard is he is a wrestler. Don't quote me on this. I believe he's Australian. But yes, he started making music with a Japanese female wrestler, and she also wears the schoolgirl, if I can talk, uniform. It's amazing. It's hilarious. That's not at all related to this, and I just went off on a tangent about Ladybeard and Lady Baby. But yes, episode 1 was about erectile dysfunction. By the way, for this episode, I'm trying something different. You might hear me touching the microphone. I'm speaking quietly and holding my microphone close to my face. I am not re-recording the last 2 parts because I am recording this in parts this time. So, yes, I realized my microphone was on the wrong setting, but it is accurate now. Oops. Yeah, I feel like every time I move my hand, it's heard. I apologize for that. Anyway. Episode 2. Lolita Complex. When does it become an issue? And according to the DSM, it's only considered a mental illness when sexual attraction or acts towards those under the age of 13 are involved. Otherwise, it's, according to the DSM, is not a mental illness. However, you should probably seek help before it becomes criminal. Yeah. Unlike some people. Moving on. I say that too early. Anyway. Yes. Okay, yes, I thought I missed something in my notes. I did not. So yes, moving on. Episode 3 is about cognitive impairment. And in the episode, they say we don't use the term dementia anymore, but having worked in assisted living and primarily in memory care most recently, actually I think all in all, the whole time I've ever been in memory care, it's for the most part, all the times, mostly memory care. Including the first time I worked for that company, about a quarter of it, I want to say, was a memory care. which was terrible, by the way. I hated it there. I hated working with those people. Not the residents. I've always loved my residents. It was the AM staff, honestly, and I think a lot of people could probably relate to that. Now, I'm off topic. Anyway, episode 3 is cognitive impairment, which I probably suffer a form of, apparently. Cognitive impairment. They talk about the Hasegawa scale to screen for the mini mental state examination and dementia rating scale, which is more common. People may have depression, schizophrenia, etc., which may mimic cognitive impairment. So if you're younger and you're showing signs of dementia or something similar, it's probably schizophrenia or depression. Words are hard, man. Anyway, yes, it could just be something else. Probably do not have dementia when you're like 23 or something. I will say this too. So having worked in the field, they do mini mentals at assisted living. They should pay more attention to the results of a mini mental, or probably figure out something else. The amount of times that a resident ended up in assisted living when they definitely never should have been in assisted living and probably should have been in memory care from the very beginning. It is outstanding. And again, that's one of those things that somebody who has worked that field can probably relate to. It was terrible. Absolutely terrible. Moving on. Episode 4. Episode 4 is about sleep disorders. Hooray. And it goes on to say, REM is the brain being awake. I lost my place. Okay, REM, brain awake, body asleep, which is when you dream. Non-REM is brain asleep, body awake. There's 4 stages of sleep, and they go from shallow to deep. As we age, sleep becomes more shallow, stopping at about stage 2 or 3. Insomnia is more common due to aging. Same with stress and worry. Insomnia has 2 different types: difficulty falling asleep, which can be stress triggered, or early awakening. Other sleep disorders include day-night sleep rhythm reversal and overall shallow sleep. To treat it, you can do medications, turning off your lights, keeping a sleep journal, using earplugs, raising the room temperature a bit, and just relax. And honestly, yes, it's the biggest thing I've told my friends if they have insomnia or other sleep issues. If it's like, have you just tried to lie down? Have you tried turning things off? Like, stop looking at your computer, your phone, what have you. Just lie down and try to sleep. Like, if you don't actually try, it's not insomnia. You are intentionally keeping your brain awake. I apologize if that struck a nerve. But yes, I suffer from insomnia. I get it. I will be trying to fall asleep. Trying, and eventually, yes, I will look at a screen, because obviously it ain't gonna work. I'm not going to sleep. Either I'm too stressed, or my brain just refuses to shut off, or whatever. But yeah, it does happen. Anyway, next episode. honestly, episode 5 is kind of interesting. It doesn't really follow the same structure as the other episodes, but episode 5 is about favorite colors and how they relate to your mental health. For example, white is purity, freshness, and clean, which is why hospitals generally tend to use white. They want to give you that fresh and clean sort of feel, even though you know damn well in the back of your mind that ain't true. Anyway, black, highly sensitive, and tend to dislike being directed by others. Red is dynamic, drastic mood swings and become emotionally unstable. However, red can make things appear more expansive, and there was this book that I had read back in middle school. Some BS like How to Live Your Life Goth or some shit like that. And like, I don't even remember how I got this book. I gave it to a friend though, so I have no idea where it is now. Probably gone. Like, destroyed, gone at this point. She was a tweaker who actually went back to meth, which is why I stopped talking to her. Anyway. Sorry, I was like 13 and I didn't want to associate with anyone who used drugs. So like, I stopped talking to her. I don't know how she's doing these days. I mean, I hope she's doing better. But, yes. Anyway. Yeah, that book mentioned that don't paint your room black. It will feel more enclosed. But red, however, red will make it feel larger. Which is true. If you paint your room red, it will appear larger. If you paint your room blue, blue tends to have a calming effect. And if your favorite color is blue, it means you are a calm and quiet person, respectful of social hierarchies. Yes. Blue is the calming color. And my mom and I were always, this is kind of a little tangent here, but my mom and I were always into color theory and aromatherapy type things. And I told her, you know, blue is calming, and apparently so is lavender. So, because we were thinking of what to paint the walls. So she goes and gets blue paint. It was like a baby blue paint with this like lavender scented oil that's supposed to go into paint. So she made the living room scented, and it smelled weird. It didn't last very long, luckily, especially because my mom is a bleach addict, so that smell got overrun real quick. But yes, and then she painted the kitchen salmon, as well as her room salmon. Just, why salmon? It looked weird, but if you ask my mom, and if she were to ever listen to this, I promise you, she's gonna be like, well, it looked good. Just imagine Isaac's mother saying that. You probably don't know what my mom looks like, but just imagine, like, a nearly 50-year-old woman. Just, no, it looked good. Sorry, Mom. But I'm almost certain that's how her response would be. And that said, pink. Pink is your favorite color. It's peaceful, or your peaceful, stable tendency towards dependence. Purple is arrogant. If your favorite color is purple, you're probably arrogant. And apparently, cool colors like blue and aqua, warm colors such as red and orange sense time differently. I forgot to write what that difference is in my notes, but I remember surprisingly. So the example they gave is red. If you're like in a waiting room and the walls appear red, you're probably gonna be more impatient. Like, but if you go to like the DMV and the walls are painted like blue or, you know, greenish or purple or something, you're probably gonna be a little more patient. And that's just kind of because, like, you know, color theory. Your brain will tend to think, like, if you are in a blue room, you feel like the time has passed by slower. But if you're in a red room, you feel like it's time to go. It's time to go now. You know? Probably not. I probably explained that terribly. So, yeah. We're gonna move on to the next episode. Hooray! Next episode. No! I'm big dumb. Moving on. Wait! Yes! Not my next episode. My brain isn't working. The next episode of the anime. Honestly, in my notes, this is kind of where I started to write smaller, and I do this on the next page too. But anyway, episode 6 is about panic disorder. Repeated panic attacks, such as heart palpitations, sweating, trembling, difficulty breathing, chest discomfort due to anxiety or stress. You may also feel like your senses are off, like lightheadedness. So, repeated panic attacks indicate a panic disorder. Can lead to agoraphobia if it happens too long. And no, agoraphobia is not a fear of germs. That was something else. It's not a fear of large places. I think that's something else too. Agoraphobia is basically being around a lot of people but not able to escape. Panic attacks can lead to anticipatory anxiety, where I struggle with this myself, honestly. Where, like, you don't feel like you I don't want to say scared. You're anxious to leave your house because you feel like something bad will happen if you do. Like, you might get run over by a car, or you may even just get into a car wreck if you're the one driving, or you might fall into a hole or something. It can sometimes be very, very unrealistic like that, which is unfortunate. I'm trying to see where I was in my notes, where I went on a tangent. Yes, if symptoms aren't severe yet, meds and counseling can treat it quickly. Just do not handle it alone, and that can be said with a lot of things. Don't try to handle things on your own. If you already feel like it's like you're not handling it at all, then you should contact someone. Even if you're in public and you feel anxious, like if you're on the train or something, like you can just tell yourself, like if you have to take the train to work, just tell yourself, if I feel anxious, I'll just get off at this next station, or even just, if I feel anxious, I'll step away and call a friend. Something like that, hopefully, I'm going to say that a lot because I don't know, apparently. Alright, moving on. Moving on to the bane of my existence is depression. Oh, fucking Ray! So there is the Center for Epidemiologic Studies. I said the word. Also known as the CESD depression scale. 20 questions, about 70-90% accurate. Anything over 0.25% yes should take action. There's a different scale. I know that's used here. I don't know about elsewhere. But it's more than 20 questions, I can fucking tell you that. Yeah, it's bad. I think it was like 50 questions. And like a lot of them repeat. So you want to make sure you're not faking your answers to try to make yourself sound like you're not as sick as you are, or that you're more sick than you actually are. Fuck you. And it doesn't help, like with me, I have this tendency to look at a question like that, like the ones they ask, and like put myself in that situation, but then I put myself in the situation in a different way. So I hate like things like that. It's not even like I try to do it, I just do. Like, how would you feel if someone stole your cookie? Something like that. You know, maybe like for the first hour, I'd be like, I mean, that'd be fine, whatever. But then 2 hours into the stupid test, I'm like, well, now I'm fucking hungry. Fuck that kid. I want my goddamn cookie back, bitch. So I keep giving myself bullshit, like... I forgot the term. Like, scenarios, I guess? I don't know. Anyway. So yes, treating depression. There are antidepressants, such as SSRI, which is a selective serotonin reuptake inhibitor. That's about 70% of the antidepressants out there. There's also SNRI, serotonin norepinephrine reuptake inhibitor. I myself, and I should post my med list, like ones I've been on and the ones I'm on now. I don't know. How would you guys feel about that? Like, if I posted it to my Milkshake page, because I already have my diagnoses there, so like maybe I can go into more depth about my med history and also give a little bit of education on it, you know, like this one's an SNRI, something like that, you know. But like, I actually don't know if I've been on an SNRI, so unless Wellbutrin's considered one. I don't remember. See, this is why like I could do that, you know, with the Milkshake thing, which is in the description of this episode. Anyway. So yeah, like I mean I could. We can like all learn about antidepressants and which is which. And I can let you guys know what I experienced with them. Or I could just do a whole episode and just talk about it there. Let me know what you guys think. So, I believe that's all about episode 7. But yeah, a quick rundown though. I was on Wellbutrin. I was on Zoloft and Celexa and a bunch of other shit when I was in high school. And I'm very, very, very adamant about that. I do not believe personally that a teenager should be medicated unless it's absolutely severe. But you should try therapy first. My mother took me out of therapy. So, yeah. When I got taken out of therapy, I just kind of felt like I had no one to talk to about any of this shit anymore, so bottle it all up. That's a good idea, right? It's not, don't do that, 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 don't bottle it up. Talk to someone now. I have no idea how loud all that was, I'm so sorry. Anyway, next anime episode. Episode 8 is again about erectile dysfunction, which again I have no experience with, nor will I ever. It's about how to remedy ED. I tried to say an ED. That doesn't make sense. Remedy and erectile dysfunction. I don't know, that doesn't sound right. Anyway. So it could be that it takes too long to achieve, is lost before completion, difficult to achieve on certain days, and that does not mean like I'm not gonna get erection on Tuesday. No, that's like if you work, let's say you work Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, if you suffer with ED, you might be less likely to achieve an erection on the days you work due to work stress. Something like that. Again, it can be mental or physical, like diabetes, hypertension, hyperlipidemia, stroke, heart attack, etc. Greatest cause is arteriosclerosis, which is hardened arteries that make the already narrow blood vessels narrower, causing erection to be difficult. So the blood vessels around the brain are 5 to 7 millimeters. Around the heart, they are 3 to 4 millimeters. These are diameters. And around the genitalia are 1 to 2 millimeters. So the blood vessels down there are already pretty tiny. So if the blood is not able to make it there entirely, it's going to cause some issues and probably some discomfort. You should probably see a doctor. If you're prone to ED and also have a family member with one of the above conditions, such as, diabetes, hypertension, etc., or if you like sweets or don't exercise much, which can also be negative, both of them negative to diabetes, as well as other things, such as the, blood sugar. You should probably seek help. Yes. If you have any of the conditions or have a family member with said conditions and are prone to erectile dysfunction, men, go talk to your doctor. Mental causes, though, can also include stress, anxiety, depression, which can restrict blood flow. And of course, a lot of us already know about Viagra, Cialis, other things like that. So there is medication. It is not the end of the world. You can see a doctor, get a prescription for Viagra, and get it going again. Bruh, sorry I ain't got a dick. I can't give you better advice. But I mean, yeah, I say this a lot. Take care of yourself. Put yourself first. I don't care how badly you want to sleep with someone. If you're not taking care of yourself, you probably ain't gonna get it up. Take care of yourself first. Moving on. I probably should have hit my vape before I started to continue recording, but I did not because my brain is not working because of medication. Hooray! So 9 is you're talking about penises isn't gonna get this video or video. This episode ticking down, then this probably might these next couple ones. Because, yes, I don't know why I'm talking from behind my vape. I'm so sorry. I don't know what I'm doing with myself at all. Episode 9 is about fetishism. I'm gonna hit my vape. And it says, when intense sexual urges, fantasies, behavior toward inanimate objects occur continuously or repeatedly for 6+ months, that is when it is considered a fetish. Therefore, feet do not count as inanimate objects because they are a body part. Foot fetish is not technically a fetish. But what can be a fetish is like heels. I've heard of heel fetishes and boot fetishes. Those are fetishes. Feet fetish, not a thing technically. Breast fetish, I don't know how that would be a fetish to begin with. Like, I thought people who are attracted to women sexually were just also attracted to their breasts. Maybe I'm confusing this. Don't at me, I'm ace, okay? I'm sorry. I don't understand things. Like, I don't have a penis. I don't have a penis and I'm not sexually attracted to people at all, so I don't understand fetishes at all. So yes, I don't know. I guess that is a thing, supposedly. Breast fetish, I just thought that was just normal. But then again, I don't know. Now I'm having like this existential crisis kind of, because like if people are just like naturally attracted to breasts, which are a body part, then they would just be naturally attracted to feet, which are another body part, right? Fuck. Yep, I ran myself into a fucking corner here. Moving the goddamn fuck on. Yes. The sexual urges, fantasies, and behaviors that cause considerable suffering or interference in the patient's social life and or career. Also, that's a lot of thing with the DSM too. They'll say like, this is not a diagnosis unless these conditions are all met, and it's usually it persists for enough time and has considerable impact in the patient's social life, etc., like work or whatever. And the same thing can be said with substance abuse, be it drugs or alcohol, or other addictions like gambling. They do not qualify as an addiction, as a diagnosable addiction and a condition, unless they have persisted for so long and have difficulties, like the patient has difficulties maintaining their social life or their work life, etc. So and I don't know if I'm being recorded, but anyway, like wine moms that drink every night, if it's not affecting their home life or their work life, they're not alcoholics. And it's really weird to put it in that perspective. Because you would think that somebody who has a glass of wine every single fucking night, or more than one glass, would probably be an alcoholic. But they're not. Like I said, that is a recurring theme with the DSM. And the whole reason I know all this is because I went to and dropped out of college because I got dropped from my class for going on vacation that they knew about since the beginning of the fucking semester. Anyway, yeah, I went to school for a little bit, for substance abuse counseling. So, yeah. That's the whole reason I know about the DSM shit when it comes to that. So, yeah. Where was I? Oh, okay. Yes, either allow the patient to indulge in the fetish until it wears off, or seek mental help. Treatment can only help to a certain extent. And by the whole letting them indulge in the fetish thing, if they're not hurting anyone, then it's whatever. Like, if they have like a heels, like a high heel fetish, then like let them just indulge in it. They might get bored of it eventually. There's not much you can do for treatment in the case of fetishism. So I went on a random ass tangent there, but yes, moving on. Hooray. Exhibitionism. Had to make sure I said the word. We are on episode 10 of reviewing a mental anime. Hooray. Yes. Exhibitionism is episode 10. So it says the act, urge, or fantasy of exposing one's genitals to unsuspecting strangers that is repeated for at least 6 months. These urges cause considerable suffering or difficulty in the patient's relationships. So, again, the DSM, it's got to go on for a certain amount of time, and it's got to have some impact in their personal life. Otherwise, it's not technically a mental illness. Or at least a mental diagnosis. Men who expose themselves are often quiet men who fear association with women. Though the patient is fearful, he exposes himself out of a desire to prove his manliness. Treatment includes women to ignore the man, as such men are aggressive but not dangerous. Report them to the police. And it does even say in the anime, because the male doctor says, you know, he's the one who says, well, the treatment just includes women ignoring the guy. And the female nurse, who's like the real pervy one in the series, actually does say, like, don't put the responsibility on women. That's dangerous. And it is. It really is. But he also acknowledges, like, yeah, it is, I know. But that's what it says. Sorry. No, basically. But yeah, like, it sucks. Like, you kind of just have to ignore it. You can obviously call police. Sadly, I hate to say this, but like, you could pretend to take a picture and he might appreciate it. The exhibitionist. It sounds weird, it sounds gross, and I'm sure you don't want to do it, but you know, like, it's not like it's a common thing here in the States anyway, but you know, Next episode's not much better. Voyeurism. Yes, episode 11 is on voyeurism. Diagnosed when one watches unsuspecting strangers naked, removing clothing, or engaging in sexual acts frequently over a period of at least 6 months. These urges cause issues in relationships. It can happen even if men are in relationships. It's believed to offer stimulation doing it in secret. So basically, like, the secrecy of it is the whole thing. Not being caught. Like, being a peeping Tom. You know, like, it's not so much as the act itself as it is the not getting caught. Those seeking treatment has gone down in the last 40 years, likely due to, internet. They do not like to be seen by the people they're watching. Yeah, like, that's the whole secrecy thing. But yeah, kind of maybe the internet had something to do with the decline of voyeurism. Medicine can treat the stress or sexual frustration. It's said most patients have cognitive distortions, so psychiatric help may also correct those. Aversive conditioning can help, or call 911. Yes. So I forgot to write that one down, unfortunately, and my brain's not working. So I am having issues thinking. Aversive conditioning. Hooray! We're learning together. I do this on my streams, and I'm sorry. Oh yes, to use of something unpleasant, like a punishment, to stop an unwanted behavior, like if you're walking a dog on the leash, and the dog pulling back on the leash is aversive conditioning. So, yeah. Good luck with that. Episode 12 is also something I personally deal with, and that is social anxiety disorder. Hooray. It says glossophobia is the intense anxiety felt when speaking in front of people, such as receptions or meetings. Scopophobia, I hope I said that right, is anxiety when exposed to the eyes of others. So basically, once you see someone looking at you, or feel like they can be looking at you, would be that scopophobia. Telenophobia. Yes. Anxiety towards speaking on the phone. So my thing with the phone, like, I'm not like, oh, well, Gen Z doesn't talk on the phone at all, it just text. No, first off, I'm a millennial. Secondly, I always fear answering the phone because I feel like it might be something bad. So it's like, that's why I prefer text message, because, like, at least if you text me, I kind of, like, can use the free time to mentally prepare myself to read that text message. I don't have enough time to prepare myself when you're calling me. That sounds weird. I'm so sorry. It's often treated with meds like SSRIs, etc., psychological treatment, and gradual acclimation. May also help. Gradual acclimations is like speaking in front of one person and then increasing that. So like if you have siblings, talk in front of one of them, pretend you're giving like a presentation. Next time, bring in 2 siblings. Third time, bring in like a friend or someone who's an outsider. Something like that. And that is all for episode 12, social anxiety disorder. Again, there's different types that are related to phobias. So yeah. Episode 13 is sleep apnea. Sleep apnea syndrome, otherwise known as SAS, happens when the airway becomes obstructed and can lead to shallow sleep, also called Pickwinian syndrome, apparently due to a Charles Dickens. I'm big dumb today, holy crap. Charles Dickens character named Pickwick. Anyway. It can cause shortage of oxygen, strain on the heart and blood vessels, and leads to heart and arteries, heart failure, or hypertension. So basically, your airway becomes obstructed while you sleep, and because you're less likely to sleep, sometimes your significant other or a parent or someone will say like, dude, you stop breathing in your sleep. Are you okay? Like you kind of do stop breathing. Like it can be that bad that you can stop breathing for an extended period of time. Shallow sleep leads to daytime sleepiness, lack of concentration, depression. It can cause obesity. It can't. My bad. Causes include obesity, and that's because, excess fat that makes the airways easier to close. My bad for misspeaking. Mouthpieces can be used. Losing weight can help. Serious cases may cause for a continuous positive airway pressure machine, otherwise known as a CPAP. If you feel tired during the day, or you're told of loud snoring or breathing cessation, consult a doctor. Sleep studies are used for diagnoses. And yes, sleep study, if you don't know, you have to basically sleep in the doctor's office, and they will check to see if you're breathing through your sleep. That's all that is. And my own father had sleep apnea. He was also very much obese. He ended up dying of an enlarged heart. So, yeah, take that information how you will. Not trying to be like depressing here, but it can happen. He had blood sugar issues, he had heart issues, he was obese, and he died in his sleep. So, again, take care of yourself. Moving on to episode 14. which sadly I actually do not have any notes on. Episode 14 is about grief. And simply just says severe shocks such as a death, grave illness, or loss of something precious can lead to grief. There's 4 broad stages of grief. Those are denial, anger, giving up, and acceptance, and hope. Giving up and acceptance are the same thing. So basically, you're in denial. Like, let's say someone died, you're like, no, they didn't die. And even if you know they died, like, for example, with my own dad, when he died, my stage of denial was like, no, this is like a joke or something. When, like, I wanted to message my dad on Facebook, because that's how we talked. We talked on Facebook for the most part. And I wanted to just send him a message like, dude, this isn't funny. Like, knock it off. Anger. I don't honestly know if I was really angry with my dad's passing. I guess kind of, yeah. Like, I was mad he didn't take care of himself. Again, he was obese. He had a lot of health issues. He was 45. So, like, he wasn't that old. Like, 45-year-olds don't generally die in their sleep. Like, they're usually healthier. Healthy enough anyway. Giving up an acceptance? Yeah. For it, hope for, like, the future is what that means. I don't know. I really don't think like there's anything regarding that for me personally, but I'm sure other people do. So yeah, that was the 4 stages of grief. Episode 15 has to do with seasonal affective disorder, otherwise known as SAD, S-A-D. Seasonal affective disorder is when the season changes mood, usually like with winter or summer. By summer, they mean May to September, and it usually includes a reduced appetite, insomnia. So if you find yourself eating less and sleeping less in, the summer months, May to September. Winter, they define as October to March. Includes increased appetite, oversleeping, etc. Which I think probably a good portion of people are pretty guilty of. Myself included, but I also deserve depression. So, yay. Treatment includes light therapy, starting your day slowly, opening curtains for natural sunlight, etc. See, and the thing with the insomnia and reduced appetite has to do with the fact that you've got sunlight from like 5 a.m. to 10 p.m. So you only have night hours for 11 to 5. Pretty much. You've got like maybe 6 hours of nighttime. So you're probably gonna sleep less. Blackout curtains can also help a lot. I have blackout curtains. I know my Minnesota accent slipped in there at the beginning. Yes, blackout curtains can certainly help. I'm trying so hard to enunciate my T's. I know I don't. A lot. I'm so guilty of the Minnesota accent. It's terrible. Moving on. So episode 16 has to do with stalkers. They talk about the concept of strokes, not like brain stroke. Just talking to someone, praising them, touching them, things like that. There's positive and negatives. Positives are actions that have a positive effect on another person, such as smiling, hugging, or praising with consent. Do not touch people without consent. That would be considered a negative stroke. Hug your friends and family who approve of it. Negative include yelling, hitting, ridiculing. Strokes are also called mental nourishment, and no one can live without these strokes or mental nourishment. People seek negative strokes just to get something. Like how one will take bread and water if no other option exists. So some people will seek those negative strokes, such as the ridicule and, the yelling and physical abuse sometimes, just because it's some sort of interaction. It's some sort of mental nourishment. And it sounds ridiculous to say it's nourishment when it's negative, but we need to have human interaction. And some people will be like, well, no, I'd be fine living by myself in the mountains. No, you really wouldn't. Not for long. Mental nourishment is something we all need to survive. Again, it's the same with food. You need food. You need human interaction. Trust me, I'd like to think that if I was living by myself alone in the mountains, I would be fine, but I know better. Not trying to pop anyone's bubble. Moving on. I say that and then it doesn't move on. I'm so sorry. We're gonna move on for real this time. Episode 17. Think proactive about painful things. People who've lost jobs have been told in studies to vent and rage for 20 minutes a day. If you lose your job, vent and rage for 20 minutes a day, be it to someone or to yourself. By 1 week, the group felt more opportunistic compared to the what's the term? The other group. The sample? No, I don't know. Not placebo. Whatever. The other one. The other group. You should know what I mean. I don't know what I mean. Yeah, a couple months later, 53% had found new jobs compared to 14% of the not rage group. The rage group was 53 compared to 14. Stress-induced insomnia and students were told to vent in journals, and they earned higher grades. And it's called emotional disclosure, doing things to feel better and turning negative feelings into positive feelings or results. My bad. Negative feelings into positive results. And yes, that kind of falls under the whole bottling up too. If you bottle things up, you're more likely to be stressed about it and not get over it for a longer period of time, as opposed to venting, getting it out. Then you don't think about it as long because you've got no more reason to think about it anymore. And you get over it sooner and faster, and you're able to move on quicker So, yes. Journal, rage, vent, punch a tree. Don't punch a tree, that shit hurts. Do something for 20 minutes a day when something stressful happens to you. And you will get positive results. At least half of the time. Maybe more. Episode 18 has to deal with conscious patterns of those with mental disorders. And they call it the cognitive consistency theory. High esteem people prefer those who think highly of them, and vice versa, such as people who do not think highly of themselves tend to be around people who also do not think highly of them. Confident people accept compliments better. People who think poorly of themselves mistake insults for understanding. I'm fucking guilty of that. Oh god. Enhancement of dominant response through visceral arousal. Basically psych yourself up. Nope. I skipped ahead. That's the next episode. Episode 18 continues on to say, try accepting compliments and begin to accept yourself. Yes. So, okay. Forget that I moved on accident, but so basically, if you, like me, have poor self-esteem and someone's like, hey, you ugly motherfucker, it's like, you understand me? I know I'm an ugly motherfucker. So, like, I know I am. You don't need to tell me. You can tell me, I don't give a shit. But anyway. No, like, when it comes to people giving me compliments, I always have to question what their goal is. Like, what do you want? Like, you're lying because you want something. What do you want? Like, I'm terrible about it. I really am. And I've been told by so many people that I need to get better at accepting compliments, which I probably will not do. Episode 19 is what I skipped ahead to on accident a little bit. What day is toughest on mental state? And again, this does not mean like your mental state's just gonna be harder on Tuesday just because. No. So, enhancement of dominant response through visceral arousal, psyching yourself up. When you psych yourself up to do something, the stronger of the two is enhanced. Like, I need to pass this class versus I might fail this exam. Or think nonchalantly with negative ones. So, like, if you're thinking like, I'm gonna pass this class, as opposed to I might fail tomorrow's exam. If you feel more strongly that you're gonna fail, then think nonchalantly with that. Like, I'll try talking to friends when I get to school. Things like that to help reduce stress. They say thinking like, for starters, I'll talk to friends. Or like, you're looking forward to a promotion or something. Like, for starters, I'll clock in on time. Something like that, something small, like for starters. What are you going to do to start to reach that positive goal that you have. So yes, moral of that episode, for starters, you're gonna do something awesome. And then you will be awesome. Just my example. And finally, episode 20 talks about what kind of place is the mental clinic. You also need to remember this is an anime, so it may or may not be different or similar to what your experience might be. Anyway, what kind of place is a mental clinic? Well, first you call and make an appointment, or possibly make an appointment online if the clinic allows for it. You'll check in at the reception desk. After filling out your history paperwork, you might see a psychologist before the doctor, similar to seeing a nurse before you see your doctor. Based on your symptoms, the doctor will recommend treatment methods and give advice for your day-to-day life, and may or may not prescribe medications. Then you pick up your medication, prescription, and you leave. Unless they fill it there. Then you pick up your prescriptions and leave. So yes, that is what to expect at a mental clinic. Not very exciting. In fact, in the anime, they actually made a point of that, how unexciting it was. So again, this anime, it's very similar topic to what I normally talk about. And because the episodes were so short, I just, I took notes during it over my 20th rewatch. It's a good anime. I highly recommend it. Comical Psychosomatic Medicine is super funny. I love it. It's again, it's kind of an older anime, so the art style may not be something you can deal with, but I don't know. I recommend it anyway. So yeah, I don't know. If you have any suggestions for what anime I can watch, regardless whether it's, something action-y that you think I'd like, or something health related. I actually quite enjoy health related anime. Comical Psychosomatic Medicine, prime example. Even Cells at Work. I've watched the entirety of Cells at Work and Cells at Work Code Black. They are fantastic anime. I enjoy anime that talks about health aspects in an accurate-ish manner, So, even with my notes here, I looked things up as I paused to write notes. I looked things up to double check that I'm not spreading false information. I'm not about that. I will research shit into the fucking ground and make damn sure that everything that I post, everything that I tell people, everything I say is fact. It's truthful. And if it's not, I will say that. I will say I'm not entirely sure, but, I do shit like that. So, yes, that said, I did my best to make sure that this anime was accurate, or at least that my notes were, before I told all of you. So, yep, if you have any suggestions, I would love to hear from them, especially sciencey, health-related type anime. I'll give you a big old thank you very much in advance. And, yep, I'm just gonna stop it here. And let's hear that outro.
Boys, I hope you're having a fantastic morning, day, afternoon, evening, night, when you're listening to this. Have a great